For a long time, I've been trying to awaken within many the idea of being a good steward, being a profitable steward, being a wise steward. There are many reasons for this. I've noticed that in a world of plenty, a world where you can get much education at little cost too, a world where you can surely develop your intellect, a world where you can be materially prosperous, you can gain great financial development by legal means. I notice that some people, even though they are developing legally, they turn to illegal activities. We're living in a world where your social being can be developed in a great way. We're living in a world where there is spiritual strength, yet so many are being led astray. So many are being destroyed by false interpreters. So many are pretending to be spiritual or to be spiritual leaders only to take from people that which they hardly have for themselves. We're living in a world awash with plenty, and yet many are still in poverty. Many are going without the learning they should have. And let me tell you something. For you to be strong, you must have a measure of education. I'm not talking to you about just formal education. Formal education is good. If you can get to secondary school, get to college, get to university, do extramural studies, that's very, very good, very helpful, very much something that will lift you out of the rut and place you somewhere. But you can learn a lot. As one man told me, I educate myself, and especially today when you have the social media systems plentifully, you can learn anything you want to learn. In this age, no one needs to wallow in poverty. When I talk about poverty, I'm talking about low intellectual development, low social development, low spiritual development, low material development. So that's the reason for me putting in time and energy into propagating stewardship, because we're all stewards. I think I told you some time ago that as long as we come into this world, we're stewards. You'll either be a good steward or a poor steward. By that I mean a steward, for good steward, a steward that will seek to develop his or her intellectual abilities, a steward that will develop his or her material status, that will develop his or her spiritual and social and physical being. You can do it. And I am at the point where, and I will never stop as long as I have breath, And as long as I can be talking, as long as I can be working, I'll be working with those who would like to change their situation. I've done it. I was born in rural St. Andrew, the hills of St. Andrew in Jamaica, in a poor village. No driving road, no piped water, no electricity, absolutely nothing for modern convenience. But early in my experience, something told me that better can be done. I attribute my initial strength to grasp something to the master of the universe. It's mainly through the church, the Seventh day Adventist church, that my inner being was stirred for greater development, for understanding, and for betterment. Yes, at that time there was no employment, nothing around to challenge the youth of my age. But somehow I climbed out. I tried some things here in Jamaica, tried to get back. I had a very good elementary education, tried to develop on that, but there was absolutely no way. Tried to get to our secondary school, tried to get to our college, nothing working out. So somehow the thought came into my head, why not, like others, try and get to England? In those days, most of those I encountered, they were going to England for 5 years to get some money and to be able to set up business when they return. Many of those 5 years have gone into 50, 60, 70 years. And many of the folks around have died in England. Some have returned and have done something very well. But my desire to get to England was to be able to get education. When I get to England, or even before I get to England, because somehow somebody placed in my hand a little leaflet telling what the educational system in England was like. That brought joy and happiness to my heart, because at that time, from scratch to tertiary education was free. You could go through all those systems without you having to scratch and scrounge to pay. And so I decided I'm going off to England. At the same time, there are costs that you have to meet. You have to find somewhere to live. You have to wear clothes. You have to do a lot of things. You have to pay back the money you borrowed to get there. And so I launched out and I got to England. But I'm surprised that even when I was in England, when I got to England, I discovered that even some of those who were born there, white people, did not benefit or did not take advantage of the situations that were around them. They were going uneducated, impoverished in many ways. Unfortunately, Many of those who went out from Jamaica, they earn a little money, but they squander it drinking alcoholic beverages, doing all sort of things, immoral living. They were not getting anywhere. I tried desperately hard to awaken within some of my fellow migrant Jamaicans the desire to gain education. I remember one when I was talked with him several times. The wife came around once and the wife say, Eric, don't bother with him. He's not getting anywhere. He's here a long time and he hasn't done one GCE subject. That was pitiful. Quite a number of others the same way. I talk with them, I work with them, I show them the possibilities. They live, they produce children, some die, and they haven't furthered their education. They haven't done anything significant. Just work and live, work and live, work, eat and live, work, eat and live. And that's good enough for them. But I, along with some others, there are quite a few others who seek to benefit from the system that was around us. I was past the age of, by this time, I was past the age of going to secondary school. And so I got into a technical college. And there I worked in the factory during the days and evening time into night. I would go to school. I managed to get 7 GCE passes. That was enough to get into college. After my GCE days, I got into college, and there I acquired a bachelor's in religion and theology. I quite a bit of other subjects, do quite a lot of history. As a matter of fact, in that college with an American system, I wanted to do a double major, a major in theology and a major in history. But for one reason or another, they did not allow me to do the double major. But I did all the history, but it was not catalogued on my certificate that I'm a history major and theology major. But I got the history, and I love history very much. It's very helpful. After my bachelor's, I told myself, you need to get some more. And so I moved on to America and did a master's degree. And then I sought employment. I wanted to get back to Britain, but again, for various reasons, I did not. And so I came back to Jamaica at that time and started working as an intern district pastor. Marched through all of that. I gave myself 5 years. This is my 5 years now. I'm coming to Jamaica for 5 years. And after the 5 years, I'm going back to study some more. Mark you, along the way, there are those who told me that I'm wasting time. I look back now and I can see that they were wasting time. They were wasting energy. They were wasting money. They were wasting their lives away. So I worked for 5 years, and then I would have gone to America too, because that was very much in the American system of education. But some doors were not open, and so I returned to the United Kingdom, took up work again, and decided to work and study, work and study, work and study. Through the years there, I managed to get a second master's degree, a third master's degree, and a PhD. All of these I had to work hard for them. No honorary degree, no gift. Every letter I had to produce with full clarification. I, I don't mind it now because it helped me. I look back at some who, because of skin color, etc., things were handed to them, but I cannot see how much it benefited them. So I rejoice even at the adversities that were thrown before me. I managed to get good qualifications. I worked there for a good long while. And then again, I returned to Jamaica after a good spell in the UK. I joined the staff at it was West Indies College then. I became the head of their Department of Religion and Theology. I worked in that for 3.5 years, and then I decided I'm going back to Britain. And so I went back to Britain, continued to work and continued to study. And even up until today, I'm still studying. I'm still trying to improve my intellect. I'm still trying to improve my social being and my social sphere. I'm still trying to improve my spiritual sphere. And I'm trying hard to improve my material sphere. You see, what happened in the material area, growing up, I picked up false theological interpretation. I was meeting false expectation. You're in the religious world. You're a pastor. You're a Christian teacher. You shouldn't even talk about money. You shouldn't talk about acquiring property because you're on God's mission. I discovered that much of what were fed into me were not biblical. And so I started working on a deep, sincere way about wealth, poverty, and Christianity. And that is why I developed a very strong stewardship message. By the way, most of the time I spent teaching at Northern Caribbean University, I was studying and teaching stewardship, and I am blessed because of that. That has helped me very much. I am by no means as wealthy as I now know I ought to be, but I'm still getting there. One day I'll get there. But my great effort now is to help make sure that youngsters coming up will not make some of the mistakes I have made. They will be able to, and I'm glad some of them are really reaching out. I had the joy this morning of noticing on Facebook a young man I work with a little bit. He's just finished his PhD. I'm thrilled. It's as though my own son had acquired a PhD. And there are many others. Because we work together, they are better off socially, spiritually, physically, materially, and spiritually. If I can help you in any way, feel free to reach in. I don't walk around and milk money from people by setting up this program, that program, especially programs that might not be fulfilled. But those who would want me to work with them, dial me a message and let's work on something to improve your material existence, your intellectual, your social, your spiritual, and your physical. It's all possible. Yes, we have plenty of problems in the world. We have plenty hindrances. We have plenty wicked human beings who do not want to see you advance. But we also have plenty good human beings, good systems, good conditions. And many of us, we find it possible to draw from the divine source. If you think I can help you, then feel free to contact me and let's work together. Let's put it together. I remember at one stage in my pastoral work, I sat with a young lady and I showed her the possibilities of getting her tertiary education to do a bachelor's degree. She railed at me. You would think I was doing something evil to her, not going back to doing a study, not fulfilling the need of what people want from me. And she gave me a good mouthful. About 10 years down the line, I met that young lady again. And with a smile on her face, if she could smile, she was telling me, I'm now doing my bachelor's degree. Yes, and I'm going along. And so. I said, well done. Keep pressing on. At that time, she should be working on her PhD. As I told you before, I'm not just talking about formal education as though it's an idol. I know some people who idolize education. But if you're going to climb out of the rut, education, money, your spiritual growth, they are very important. And the possibilities are plenty for you to achieve. I'm about to launch another channel, and that will be called Biblical Exploration, because I discover that many are using the Bible, scripture, theology to hinder growth and development in many so that they can have them as their subjects and they can manipulate their lives. They can get whatever they want from them whenever they want it, wherever they want it. As I would say on my channel, Universal Stewardship Concern, be wise and prosper today. The Master wants you to prosper materially. Yes, I said the Master wants you to prosper materially, intellectually, socially, spiritually, and physically. The only entrance to your growth will be you. If you decide to move ahead now, you can move ahead. It is quite possible. Let me show you how. Be blessed today.